Okay, so had a couple ideas. One is the Library of Legends. The concept behind the Library of Legends is that over time, a group of wizards had gathered together the knowledge of the lost world, the lost age previous to the one that everyone's living in, because of some sort of cataclysmic event. Civilization is all completely wiped out. The landscape has changed. All those kinds of things happen, and civilization has now started again. And it's primarily trade-based. There's some warfare, but primarily trade-based. And so people are setting up cities and dynasties and all these kinds of things in primarily the key most the best sort of land locations, best ports, best river mouths, all those kinds of things. And what remains still of the world, though, is a lot of unexplored areas, a lot of dangerous areas that people just don't go into. There's still monsters loose. There's still unsettling tectonic activity, whatever it happens to be. But for the most part, so civilization is gathered around the coasts and rivers and trade routes and not going much outside of that. It's kind of like sticking on the highway and not going to the by roads and stuff. And but because this former civilization was so successful, there are a lot of magical artifacts. There's a lot of knowledge still out there. There's still treasure troves left behind from this former empire, and so a group of almost like magical surveyors have gone out, but for the most part they've mostly been interested in getting the knowledge of where these things. A lot of them they've tracked down, but just don't have the resources to go after where these things are. And a lot of them, they haven't verified exactly where these things be. But they've tried to go after it and map out, well, what was the old world like? And so it's legends. Nobody has any real, the legend of a car that flew, the legend of an impregnable mountain fortress, all of these legends, and so the Library of Legend is a collection of this, where they've stored all their research, and but again, this is not really widely known. It's not something that your average citizen knows about. Maybe somebody's mentioned that there's a Library of Legends, but it's just nothing. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody understands what it is exactly. But amongst those who have magical abilities, this is considered to be a real place. And so the whole core to this is to find out where is this Library of Legends, and then from the Library of Legends to go through its catalog. And so its catalog is going to include these references to these legends, and perhaps half-finished maps to these locations, so that each one could be sort of a springboard for adventure. So I've got to sort of flesh this out a little bit more, but that was sort of the one idea that popped into my head. It was sort of inspired by Esper the Bard, who has his pirate map, and I was trying to think, well, what's a way of bringing that same sort of creativity that he does, that I'm not sure if I want to include the random component or not, but this idea that they're linked together yet uniquely separate, and it's a way of presenting really short snippets of information that people can then springboard from themselves, and also for presenting that it would be sort of you can continue on with the Library of Legends, and we've now found this in the Library of Legends, and go forward from that. So I think I might be using that as as something going forward to provide some content for you. So we'll see where that goes. The other second idea that came into mind was that I wanted to sort of somehow get to this idea of celebrating heroics, and I really like the idea of someone who's done something incredibly heroic in their life, and then went on to leave a relatively unassuming, ordinary life following this, and that not too many people are aware of who they are, and that at some point it gets revealed that they have done this heroic thing. And somehow this idea that, you know, you would wear a medal and put it away in a drawer and it would get lost and nobody ever know it. And I thought, well, what about, I mean, everybody's tattooing themselves nowadays. What about like a branding or a tattoo or something that is done by an emperor or a king to recognize the service that people have done for him, or something that is heroically done for and is therefore recognized by the emperor or the king, and that you would get this sort of tattoo, and I mulled about where you would put it, and I'm thinking the forearm, because that gives me a chance to have my character have this covered up by some sort of leather vambrace or something that at some point gets loose and somebody's able to see the branding. And then I played around with the idea, well, what if the whole tattoo thing it has some sort of an order to it, like it's a multi-pointed star, and the number of points to a star equals the number of bad guys you've killed, or the number of people you've saved, or the degree of service, and that or maybe the outside collar of this tattoo indicates the imperial stamp, and within it the symbols represent what kind of service you provided. You know, shield, defense of the empire, sword, you know, being an active soldier, you know, wizard, whatever it happens to be. So so there's that. And then another sort of thought that sort of went through my head was also the idea that you could put these tattoos on, and there might be some sort of magical calling that you could call, you know, the call of the heroes, and that draws all of these people, maybe even reluctantly, draws them back when the emperor needs them, and he sends out the call of heroes. I call for the defenders of the realm, or I call for the magic users of the realm, and it calls them back to the emperor in times of need. Yeah, and something else sort of occurred to me. Maybe there should be some sort of element of long life or immortality that is granted as well as that. Yeah, so I kind of like that idea as well, that maybe the emperor is virtually immortal, or the emperor is not, but each reigning emperor is given the Book of Heroes, and is able to call forth those heroes. And these heroes, the reward has been long life, as well as this tattoo. And then the double curse, you know, of long life, that you're rewarded with long life. But what does that mean? It means that eventually everybody you know and love dies, and you're still alive. And that it means that if you stay in one place, people are going to you know, figure out that you're not aging as everybody else and think of you as weird or something, and as a result that you might be shunned by the populace, and therefore you'd have to sort of travel and disguise yourself. yeah, so there's sort of two concepts there: the library legends and the Book of Heroes, and I really like both of those. And I'm not sure how I'm going to play around with them, but that's sort of the first set of ideas that I wanted to record. So I'm not sure if that's going to get onto the channel or not, but I think I got to start doing this kind of brainstorming, and we'll go from there and just let you know what happens with these. So that's me back home now. So this is the Angry Dwarf signing off.